different people react to this question differently, right? Some people, when they're coming up and people don't recognize their talent and put them on, when they get big, they kind of feel a level of bitterness towards those people. Other people feel like, hey man, listen, it wasn't my time yet. You didn't see my vision. Now that I'm bigger, I do want to work with you still. So in terms of people that may not have recognized you back in the day that you would run into later on in life, I'm not saying Steve Harvey. I don't know what your relationship was back then, but like just in general, do you feel like, yeah, see, now I'm here, you know, and you're back there? Or do you feel like, hey man, listen, it's my vision and I don't expect anyone else to understand it?
Nah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, the thing about Steve never treated me any...
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not talking about Steve in particular. That's why I wanted to kind of point that out. But you do meet comics on the way up.
Yeah.
And at one point you surpass them.
Right.
And they may have fronted on you or kind of, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right. No.
I think, like, for example, I think you told me, you know, well, not you told me, I remember hearing about like the Eddie Murphy story where like you met him really early on. You're like, hey man, I'm Deon Cole. I'm going to work with you one day. He's like, okay. Then you just walked off. And later on when you met him, he's like, hey man, I think you're really funny.
It's love. It's man, this business is so different. It's you can't get comfortable in this business. Every level is a learning experience. Every level is different. And the level that anybody that I meet that's an icon or whatever, if I meet them and they on the level, I learn by looking at them or whatever. You know, me meeting Eddie, it was just passing. And I know how that probably feel because I have it happen now. You know what I mean? People say something to me and be like, yo, legend, I'm gonna work with you one day. And I'd be like, oh man, I hope we do. Yeah. That's what I always do. I'd be like, hope we do, and I keep it moving. You know what I mean? And so Eddie was just like, looking at me like, okay. Yeah. And he's like, you know, but this is Eddie Murphy, yo. Like, do you know how many? First of all, he ain't around a bunch of people. So if you do have the chance to grace his presence or whatever, it's a moment, you know what I mean? And so for me to even be walking through the door while he leaving out and I'm waiting on him to walk through, I'm standing to the side like this, waiting on him to go through, and I just gingerly was like, I'm gonna work with you one day. It could be kind of creepy, you know? He's like, oh, hey, all right.
I know where you live.
It could be kind of creepy, so, you know, I get it, you know? But then later on, man, yeah, when I met him, when he came up to me at this Netflix dinner, man, that was all the validation I needed. Even, no matter what I was going through at the time, you know, work-wise, people telling me no, or auditions didn't come through, or other comics being chosen for certain things and not me. When that man walked up to me without me even asking him to, when that man came up to me, man, I was like, I couldn't believe that he was walking up to me. And when he walked up to me and was like, man, I'm a fan, I love your work, I was like, man, don't tell me that if you don't mean it. I said, don't tell me that. I said, straight up, Eddie. He was like this, nah, I mean it. I was like, dude, thank you. Whatever you need, I don't care what the fuck it is. Just ask me, I'm doing it, period. Just call me, period. Just for that, because I felt at that moment, that was bigger than any audition. That was bigger than any tour. That was bigger than anything. I remember sitting at home watching this 22-year-old do Delirious and murder at 22, and the content that he was talking about, Elizabeth Taylor and Johnny Cash and all these people. I'm like, how do you even know these motherfuckers at that age? Like, how seasoned he was. And man, to see that, and wasn't even thinking about doing comedy, but to see that and know that that man did that, to know that man did Trading Places and changed the game. I call them culture shifters. He shifted culture when it came to comedy and all that. Man, to have that man come up to me, man, I was like, and I had missed like 2 auditions. They didn't choose me. So people got chosen for this tour. They didn't choose me for that. And after that, man, that sent me to a whole nother level. I started writing my ass off and was like, psst. So there's certain icons that you meet, man, you it just sparks something in your brain and be like, man, like what I'm doing is worth it.
Well, yeah. I think me and TK Kirkland were talking about this. Eddie Murphy's the biggest rock star in comedy ever.
Ever.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle. And you know, the younger kids may not understand what I'm saying now, but I think Dave would admit this if you were to ask him right now.
Right.
Because not only was Eddie doing the biggest stand-up specials ever, but he was a bona fide movie star.
Right.
On a level that even Kevin Hart can't touch.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Shout out to Kevin.
Right.
Kevin's a beast also at
Yes,
what he
is.
does.
Absolutely.
This is not I'm not downplaying anybody.
Right.
But Eddie was a bona fide rock star on every level.
Yeah.
On every level.
But if you're thinking of just comedy, just pure comedy, I think Eddie was more inspirational than Chappelle, but Chappelle got more motherfucking comedy than we seen Eddie do.
Well, of course, because Eddie's really just 2 specials.
It's 2 specials.
They're monster specials, but he stopped.
And probably, 2 tours?
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
I don't even sure about the tour shit.
Yeah.
So this is how iconic this man is.
Right.
That
People still talking about his stuff from the 80s. Yeah.
From the 80s. That's how iconic. So it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And he did that to a way where that sparked the mind. Dave is great because he's great, but Dave got 13 specials?
Yeah.
Like Richard Pryor, what he got, 4?
You know, he's got maybe 5 or 6 maybe.
5? No, he got mad albums and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of count those.
You could count albums.
Because back then there wasn't really specials. Right, it was more of an audio format. Yeah.
But touring wise, I don't know what the touring was with him or whatever. But Richard Pryor was Eddie's muse. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Richard Pryor inspired a lot of people.
100%.
Eddie Murphy and everybody, whatever. But catalog wise, it ain't fucking with Chappelle.
No, not at all. But I'm just saying overall. The overall impact on society.
See, but that's what I'm trying to get. And we for us to simplify this, we talking about impact or are we talking about receipts? You know what I mean? Impact is different. Jay-Z, impactful than he changed the game. You know what I mean? But Rakim did too. Rakim changed the game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is he just as impactful, even more impactful than Jay-Z in a sense? But Jay-Z got hit after hit after hit after hit. I mean, Rakim do too, but we talk about catalog.
But I mean, Rakim, the genre was much smaller.
Right.
This was music videos were just starting out, album sales. You know, back when Rakim was rapping, people were wondering whether rap's going to be around in a couple of years. You know, I just interviewed Young MC. We had that conversation.
Right.
That was a real conversation from people, me and you. You remember people saying, yeah, it's going to go like disco. Yeah, it's hot right now. In a couple of years. Or like go-go. Okay, yeah, it's cool in this region, but no one really cares.
Right.
You know, outside the region.
Right.
Hip-hop became what it is, and Jay-Z was part of that upswing.